Welcome to the Clyde FC podcast, match day live from New Douglas Park, as we are now just 2.5 hours away from the third of our league campaign matches at home, and a first as well for the Bully at home to Kelty Hearts. Joining me today, I am delighted to say that we have Clyde chairman Gordon Thomson, and we're going to cover a bit of football, but obviously with it being yourself and the man in charge of the run of the football club, look at obviously the successes of relocation and all that fun stuff. So thank you very much for taking time out to come speak to us all. And yes, my other half is here.
I know,
I can't really say too much. So. So let's talk football, Gordon. First and foremost, you're a football fan, you're a Clyde fan. As many people will know, what have been your kind of thoughts on the opening league campaign game so far?
I've been really encouraged by it. I think it's been a very enjoyable start to the season. When you look at the League Cup, there was pluses and minuses. I think the minuses were there with regards to the start. The start against Hibs was not good, and then we followed up with a match against Bonnyrigg, which just seemed out of kilter to the whole of the pre-season. We had played pretty well in the pre-season, and then it looked at that, and that just looked back to where we had been previously. But I'm glad to see, I think the players have performed better and better as seasons went on. Frustrating again against Peterhead. 10 minutes of slackness or so, and that's you drop points, which I think demonstrates really how hard this league's going to be.
Oh, absolutely. And I think to turn it into a positive, for us to be so disappointed not to be taking full points at home to Peterhead, who have been nothing but a bogey team to us since coming into the league many years ago. It was a frustrating afternoon, if not, I wouldn't say disappointing. The performance was there, very encouraging as well. I think the fan base are really taken to what they're seeing on the pitch as well. There's a real, connection as well between the players, even this early on, and the fans, and they are very, very happy with the product that they're seeing on the park.
Yeah, I mean, I think the passion of the fans is there for all to hear, as well as see, and I'll include your wife in that from last week. But certainly, the passion is there, and that's really, really important, because the players feed off of that, and that's important. Today is going to be a tough afternoon. I know people are looking at Kelty's record to date, but they've got quality players. They've signed another couple of quality players overnight. It's going to be a tough day, and we'll need the supporters back. And that was what was so good about last Saturday, was New Douglas Park began to feel a wee bit more like home. It's never going to be our permanent home, but it felt that wee bit better, and getting the back of the supporters before the match, during the match, has been fantastic.
Martin's getting involved, and I'm assuming he's talking to you, Gordon, here, he's saying, all right, you're a legend, because I don't normally get that type of comment. So, obviously, you did touch upon there about the relocation. I suppose it's probably been the biggest talking point with the club in recent months, it's fair to say. Have you had quieter summers, Gordon?
I think that's been the... At Clyde, it never seems to be quiet. There's always something that bubbles around. But certainly, what I mentioned in the website was we've got to learn from the past, but not dwell on it. I think recruitment-wise, we're stronger. I think the squad has got a better balance about it. I'm sure there was one manager that mentioned about us being more experienced, but it doesn't seem like that. I think we've got younger players there who have got a passion and a hunger to improve their game, and that will improve us as well. And I think for me, that's been really encouraging to see.
And all with the background of moving home, shall we say, obviously moving out of Broadwood to New Douglas Park. Can you give us a wee bit, without obviously too much contractual details, what was the kind of process like for that? I doubt it would have been easy, but I think you've mentioned that the fans Q&A, Hamilton Academicals have been nothing but incredibly supportive and helpful with it.
It's been a breath of fresh air. I think in many ways we took the decision, and it was a bold decision at the time that we really wanted to move and be charged of our own destiny, as it were. We took that decision. We opened discussions with Hamilton, and they have been nothing but supportive. They've been really helpful throughout, and always looking to make this the best. Even today, coming up the stairs seeing the Clyde pictures, which are now on the walls as you're coming up the stairs, which it's those wee touches that make a huge difference. We work alongside Hamilton in order to make it the best experience for us. I think in two ways. There's one where it's obviously a great short-term venue for us. Equally, it's also a chance for us to learn over how a stadium should work for a football club. Was up a couple of times during the week, and able to see the business of a club using the stadium to full effect, whether it's their youth teams, but equally also the community groups, private businesses working from here as well during the week, so that a stadium is earning money constantly. That's a model that we have to replicate in the future.
So you mentioned, used the word there, community, Gordon, and that's obviously going to be a big thing going forward. Hopefully, obviously, once we're back into Glasgow, once we've settled into our own digs, place to call our own. If I look at the Clyde Foundation, the summer camps, they have been a rip-roaring success. Lynn, I think you'll back me up here. I think there's over 400 kids booked in, which is phenomenal. And the coaches have delivered a fantastic package. But on the back of that, these kids have been now eligible to get a Clyde season ticket. So that's potentially 400 new Clyde fans in the door as well. So going forward, is community and Clyde being part of this community and building networks, etc. That's the big part of the vision.
It has to be. I think we've got to learn from other clubs. The foundation's always been there for a long while, and it's been doing good work for a long while as well. But now we need to increase the work in that field and really move forward. There's a lot of talk about new stadiums, and certainly where I can't say too much about that just to the stage that we're at, but we've got two particular sites. I think the key for us is to return to the East End of Glasgow. That's essential for us to do that. And sometimes very naturally supporters maybe focus on it's all about giving the stadium, Clyde, a home stadium. But then that begins to make us think of it's only about 20 matches. We're about, as a club, working together with local communities that we hope to bring to that area a resource, a football club, which is working day in, day out, 365 days a year, supporting the community, providing that resource, working in partnership with the communities which exist there, and the foundation is a perfect model to do that, to provide the necessary support to us as a football club on the match days, but also ensure that the Clyde badge is known Monday to Friday, Saturday and Sunday as well.
Yeah, so the foundation's been one of the many successes. You put in an article last Saturday, I believe, for Sunday, following what was a very successful opening league game here in New Douglas Park. If I just look at the fan zone being a massive success within the support, I think it was completely packed out last week. That must be encouraging that you're seeing the fans buying in to this, obviously a temporary location, but that has to be encouraging for yourself and the board and all of the club.
It's fantastic. I mean, it was tremendous, and for supporters, because I know how difficult that is at this moment in time financially for an awful lot of people and what's to come. But to come along to the game, enjoy the atmosphere beforehand, but also, I mean, I think the lounge is a fantastic one because it's good for all generations of Clyde supporters, and it's not just for a certain group or whatever. All the facilities are equally shared. It's for everybody, and I think that for me is the key as we move forward. We have to be united as a fan base. Tremendous that Glasgow branch donated some money to the club, and you will see that on the back of our shirts as well. As a thank you for their tremendous contribution there. The supporters coming in, and hopefully some getting chicken tikka masala and burger and chips later on, which again is fantastic. So we make it a day here. and there's more opportunities for the club to earn money, but earn it by providing good services, earn it by providing a good atmosphere, not just expect it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Lina, you want to maybe ask Gordon about season ticket sales and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was going to say, I know there have been discussions that would, we obviously kind of wanted to increase the season ticket intake, just with obviously to try and kind of stabilise, a kind of good income stream for the club on top of obviously everything else that you've just kind of talked about. How have season ticket sales actually been going? Have we been more successful say than last season, or?
The short answer is yes. So that's been again very, very encouraging. The adult season tickets are just ahead now of where we were last year, and it's still for some people. I know the schools only going back next week, I think it is.
Yeah.
So there's again, I would expect more sales today. So that means we'll be ahead from last year. The foundation, as I say, is a fantastic opportunity for people to bring their kids along and enjoy and learn about Glasgow's other club.
Glasgow's main club still got
Glasgow's
main club. Just as well, the club shop I think was a rip-roaring success. I think you mentioned record sales as well. Mm-hmm. That's within the fan zone. You can obviously get your replica kits today still. To get a wee plug out there.
And your face will be helping to sell.
Yes. So please don't let her come home in a mood. So the club shop, that's going to be another big key. I think having that within the fan zone as well, it just seems that
it's trying to get things, different pieces of the jigsaw being put together. And I think that's essential, so that it becomes natural, as opposed to previously you needed sat nav to get to the shop sometimes, and it wasn't, wasn't the best. So that's been really helpful. Special mention to the guys last week. I know Dougie's been doing a lot in the relocation to move a football club from one stadium to another in the midst of pre-season, getting training organised. A big effort for the volunteers at the club, and thanks to Dougie and also Ian Elliott, our new kit man as well. You did a lot of work during that time, as well as David, Lynn and John. So again, tremendous work that's been done there. And we're here, and I'm looking forward to it. I think I've got happy memories of Douglas Park, the old one, when we won the second division.
Was it last season, wasn't it? The old Douglas Park that won the second division, 92. So
might have been. You've got a better memory than me.
It's doubtful. It's doubtful, but I believe it was. Feel free to correct us in the comments, please, guys. Just looking through the comments, there are some thanks for everyone getting involved. There was a comment I did bring up by Stuart Payton, and we'll just bring it back up. And he's saying the best way to grow the fan base is with community initiatives. Absolutely, Stuart. Gordon, you mentioned it there. It's going to be it's the key to our success going forward. It has to be.
It's about us growing communities of interest, people who have a knowledge about us, so that the Clyde name is relevant in their lives, and they can see a real difference from Clyde. You've seen that through the foundation, through different mental health projects that we've run, through our schools work, through the camps. So it's not just about community football teams, it's right across the board in different generations, even the festive friends with some of our older supporters as well. So that's essential. And that is what we can bring to a community within Glasgow, and that's what we want to do.
Martin's just asking a question here, I believe, on the live commentary coverage for Exiles. I believe, and feel free to correct me here, Gordon, that's anyone within the UK and Ireland cannot stream live.
Correct. That's the guidance which is out, and that's instruction from the SPFL that we no longer are able to do that during those times. It's a frustration. It's something that
I think it's out.
But it's out with our control. It's the contractual arrangement they've got with Sky Television, so they can't do anything about that.
However, we'll flip that. You can purchase a replay of the stream. You can purchase that now. However, you won't be able to watch it until midnight this evening. That will be a full replay of the match with full commentary by podcast own John Boyce, who does. And yeah, that's available as well, thanks, Lynn, until Tuesday. You will also be able to rewatch this. We will be uploading it to the platform as well. So if you want to use this as your wee pre-match build-up, feel free to do so. If you really want to see this coupon again, by all means, watch it. So just looking at the kind of challenges ahead then, Gordon, because everything's going great, it's nice and smooth so far. However, there's going to be challenges ahead for the club. Are you okay to outline them and what fans can obviously look to do to help the club along?
Well, I think what we've got to do is firstly recognise there's challenges. It was interesting, I was trying to think coming over in the car, that in actual fact, what have we had? 2 wins, 3 defeats and a draw, I think it has been, so if you turn that into a league season, then people might not be as optimistic, and that's a real negative. As I can, as folk know me, I can grab a half-empty glass wherever, but it's recognising this is going to be a tough season, and therefore we need that support, united. I think the real challenge that we face is that is looking at the financial picture. It's always going to be a challenge in how we're competing with clubs with far bigger budgets than us. I think Danny's shown and the recruitment team have worked together. Everybody behind the scenes in the football department have worked in order to hit the ground running this year, and that's just what can be done. So I'm not saying that a smaller budget automatically means we'll not succeed. We will. We're aiming for the playoffs like any other club. We want to succeed, but there is that challenge that was explained at the previous fans forum, and we're looking to repeat another forum in the near future, and that will probably focus on the financial picture of the club and looking at how we need supports to work together to change that picture. We're running at a planned deficit this year. That was the remainder of, and that was a choice for the board, but we wanted to back the football department and wanted to try and build that success. That will not be able to be repeated next year. So therefore a gap needs to be filled, and we need to work together to fill that gap. That's why the donations of the Glasgow branch, the fundraising events that they've been doing are so important, as are sports dinners and golf events or whatever. There's a whole series of things in order to bring money into the club that can go directly to the player budget next season, because the key for me is to see us become, we're a long way off from being like a Montrose at this moment in time, but if we look at some of the benefits that they had where they bring in 2 or 3 players in a close season because they signed the other players up and they're able to build up gradually a team over a number of seasons, that's what we want to get to. That's where we want to get, because relocation at the forefront of my minds, but we've also got to balance up the real challenge of running a League One club. And we're not taking our eye off the ball with regards to that, if you pardon the pun. We've got to make sure that we run a successful football club while achieving our goal of bringing the club back home to Glasgow.
Right, so this takes me quite nicely on here to Andrew's question. And you mentioned the playoffs in your last wee gambit there, Gordon. Do you think we can challenge for the playoffs at the right end?
I think anyone that went down to Dumfries and saw the attitude, the approach of the team, and the quality of the team that day would, why no? Why no? And that doesn't mean it can happen. That doesn't mean I'm underestimating the task that's ahead of us. But we've got to have that, the energy that's there, the commitment of the players that's there, the drive that they've got. It would be foolish to discount them.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that opening day. It's been a long time since I have seen many Clyde fans commented in various social media platforms a complete 90 minutes, first 20 seconds aside, as a complete performance from a Clyde team in many, many years.
I thought it was for me, it was the best performance under Danny. I thought we've had some great results under him, but for me, it was the best performance all round alongside that result. You see, Lynn, it was again, it just demonstrates how tough it was. You were 1-0 down after 20 seconds, completely, I felt, dominated the bulk of the game, then with 10 minutes to go, you can see the penalty. It could have been two
That's
each.
it. Yeah.
But I think the great thing there is we managed to get a result which I think gave justification to the performance. But it's not going to be an easy season. We just have to keep doing what we've been doing and obviously get as many 3 points as early as we can.
Yeah, and I suppose the flip side of it being a very difficult league is because we've got so many big teams that are far more used to playing at a higher level. Certainly over the last decade in the Scottish League setup, you've got Dunfermline this year, Falkirk. All these fans as well do bring quite significant, obviously, following. So for ourselves as well, from a selfish and financial point of view, that's certainly going to help along the way.
It can do it. I mean, it's trying to, but you can't. I want us to rely on our own income as much as possible, because there becomes our consistency and you're able to plan. It just takes if you were to put all your eggs into that particular basket, it just takes a postponement. It takes one of the bigger teams to have a fall in form or something, and then suddenly they don't bring. If you're expecting X amount to come and it's only Y, then that puts you in a vulnerable situation. So I think what we can do is, there's no excuse for not matching the attitude, the commitment, the determination that we've got. And I think that's something that we can show on and off the park. One of the things that I'm really keen for us to see is a rise in our ownership. And it's a model which is sometimes gets criticism. It's interesting to see another club's supporters desperate to have a fan ownership model similar to ourselves. I think it's not new, but it's something, especially now when we're in a position where we're looking at some really fundamental issues about the future of our club. The more people are involved, the more people that can participate in those discussions by being owners will benefit us. And I'm not talking here about a cheap financial boost for the ownership numbers. It's about the participation of ordinary Clyde supporters, no matter who you are, being involved in the key discussions about how our club evolves. And that's really, really important.
You mentioned, sorry, that in terms of the two sites kind of going forward, that actually that would get put out to, honestly, I don't know if you meant necessarily the owners or whether it be like the full fan base, but obviously if you are an owner, you're definitely going to be involved in that discussion. You'll
be involved in it. There is a degree of commercial confidentiality, but equally as owners, it's about sometimes there'll be times where it'll just have to be the owners as opposed to putting big statements out on the website. There'll be discussions. As I say, what I would like us to move forward in is moving forward together. We saw the success, I would say, of the relocation groups. The relocation group that was formed, the subgroups previously, and that was a tremendous boon because it brought guys who were interested, who wanted to volunteer. They're now all of them bar one are on the board, and unfortunately it was the one person through personal circumstances, and the door's always open to him to come back. But it's again working hard together as a group. I think we need to replicate that in other areas of our club significantly probably with fundraising, not just the commercial side, but with about fundraising and events, so that people feel involved and participate in the club. And it's not just a group of those and such as those. It's we're all in together. That for me will help when we reach the tough times. Because at those times when people are, why is that not happened? Why haven't we signed another player? If people understand the context and people understand that at the heart of this are people who are wanting to achieve success for our club and we're all in it together, that's going to make us far, far stronger for the challenges ahead.
Yeah, I think it was last year's motto. It was out on all the kind of communications. It's your club, be part of it.
Absolutely.
I don't think that doesn't change. That just evolves and becomes part of the evolution of the football club.
Definitely, it will be the success. We're wanting to bring real change, historic change to our club in moving us back home to the East End of Glasgow, to find a site which is suitable for us, that provides a hub which provides a resource to communities within that area, provides a base for our football club to grow and compete at the highest level possible. That's what we want to do, and let's do that one together.
Yeah, and that's what we all want as Clyde fans, and it doesn't matter what how big a part you think you can or can play. If you want to get involved, obviously just to reach out to yourself or any of the
Absolutely.
board.
We'll try. I would think just through circumstances this week, I wasn't able to do so, but hopefully by within the next couple of weeks, we'll have some more communication on that about how people can do that. But as you say, we've got groups of supporters who are passionate for the club, who are fundraising for the club, which is fantastic. We've got individual donors who have been great to us as well, sponsors who have supported us through the move, and that has been fantastic to see. So there's much to be positive about, which is great. What we'd love, which I can't control, is enough 3 points today.
Danny popped his head in again. I thought he was going to make another impromptu appearance on the show.
Like Alfred Hitchcock.
Just looming ominously in the background of the show. You take me quite nicely when you mention sponsors, because I will forget otherwise. As you can see, we are sponsored by Tony Flynn Mortgages. He is Scotland's soundest broker, he likes to be known as, and we are not going to disagree with him. And he's got 15 years of experience. So if you're looking to take your first step on the property market, or just look to continue and enhance your house owning game, please do reach out to Tony, and the Clyde Foundation will benefit if you quote Clyde FC podcast at their first consultation. He will donate £100 to the Clyde Foundation, and I believe that's already came to fruition in the past week. So thank you, and please do continue to support both Tony and the club. So that takes us quite nicely to the end of the show. Gordon, thank you very much for your time. Lynn, thank you very much for improving the aesthetic. And I'll get some brownie points for that one, hopefully. And obviously it goes without saying, hopefully this time next Friday, once the show's live, hopefully we're 7 points from 9 and looking at our best start in 11 years if we do. So no pressure, Danny and the boys, no pressure. So until then, thank you, and come on the Billy Wee.